When I got home, I saw my stepmother placing two identical pots in the kitchen. One pot was filled with plenty of meat. It was for her and her biological daughter. The pot meant for me contained only potatoes and carrots. From that day on, I convinced myself that she had never truly considered me part of the family. For the next 15 years, I worked hard and built a successful career of my own. Yet I could never forget what I believed was my stepmother's favoritism. Even though I had tasted countless gourmet dishes, the meal I missed most was my mother's braised meat with potatoes. It was the only taste of love I remembered from childhood. I heard that this restaurant could recreate flavors from people's memories, so I decided to visit. The owner was responsible for the cooking, while his daughter helped customers uncover the flavors hidden in their memories. Guests couldn't simply order whatever they wanted. The owner personally chose the dishes based on each person's story. It was springtime when I arrived. The owner served a seasonal flower viewing bento. The care put into that meal made me feel the trip was already worthwhile. The owner's daughter asked me what I wanted to eat. I told her that my mother's braised meat had a slightly reddish color and a hint of sweetness. It was a flavor I had never forgotten. The next day, the owner traveled by boat to my hometown. He studied the local ingredients and learned the most authentic cooking methods from the villagers. After that, he tracked down the house where I had once lived. 2 weeks later, he placed a bowl of braised meat in front of me. I picked up a piece and took a bite. My heart instantly sank. This wasn't my mother's cooking. It was my stepmother's. I stood up and prepared to leave, but the owner stopped me and said there was something I needed to know. He took out an old cookbook. He explained that my mother had given it to my stepmother before she died. I opened to the page for braised meat with potatoes and was completely stunned. It turned out that my mother knew I hated carrots as a child. To make sure I got enough nutrition, she would mash the carrots into tiny pieces and mix them into the meat as seasoning. That was why her braised meat had a reddish color and a subtle sweetness. Later, when I grew older and no longer disliked carrots, my stepmother finally started cutting them into chunks and adding them directly to the stew. I had always believed she was playing favorites, but in reality, she had simply been following my mother's wishes, learning how to love me the way my mother had. The owner continued. Back then, she didn't put large pieces of meat in my pot because she was afraid they would stick to the bottom during the long cooking process. She worried that I wouldn't get a single hot bite to eat, and during those 15 years, even though I had never once returned home, she cleaned my room every day and carefully looked after all of my belongings. The cookbook contained not only my mother's handwriting, the later pages were filled with notes written by my stepmother. Every entry was a recipe she had learned later. All the foods I loved. When the owner finally served me the braised meat, made with finely crushed carrots, I took a bite. Tears began to well up in my eyes. The flavor I had been searching for over the past 15 years had never disappeared. I was the one who had let my prejudice shut both kinds of love outside the door.